Hey, it's Sam from Sugar Spun Run, and today we are making creamed corn. So I was actually surprised to find out that creamed corn is a recipe that's really popular in the summer during cookouts. For me, this has always been a Thanksgiving or holiday dinner staple. I love it served over mashed potatoes. I don't know if that's weird, but that's what I've been doing my whole life, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. So my grandmother always made her creamed corn out of a can. She just kind of opened up the can and put it in the pot, and that was great. But I, of course, wanted a from scratch version. And let me just say, if you've been eating it out of the can, once you try it this way, you are never going back. Comes together really quickly, so let's grab a 10-inch or so skillet and head over to the stovetop. So we're going to turn our stovetop to medium heat. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm using salted butter. If you use unsalted, you might just need to add an extra shake of butter to the recipe when you're done. So we're going to melt this. So once your butter is melted, we're going to add some finely chopped onions. So you can see here, I did really chop this nice and small. So this is just a 1/3 cup of yellow onion. The white onion would also work here. If you prefer, you could use a shallot, but I just usually use onion. Adds a nice flavor to the creamed corn. So we're going to cook this until it's nice and soft, which is only going to take a couple of minutes. And I do want to mention the fact that I don't use garlic in this recipe. We did try this recipe a couple times with garlic because I love garlic. I thought it would be a no-brainer, but it actually just works better without the garlic. Okay, once that onion is nice and softened, we're going to add some flour. This is a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. I'm just going to sprinkle it over the onion, and I'm going to stir it in and just cook it until it's completely absorbed. And then I'm going to cook it like another 30-60 seconds longer, which is just going to lightly toast it and help with the depth of flavor of the creamed corn. So the flour is also going to add some body to the corn and help make it a little more creamy and velvety. If you were to skip the flour, it would be a much looser creamed corn. Still probably be delicious though. All right, so I just stir this constantly to keep it from burning. And then once it's all absorbed and lightly toasted, we're going to add our corn. So I use frozen corn. Frozen corn is picked at its peak. It's nice and fresh. It has a great taste, and it is accessible all year round. You're going to need about 4 cups to slightly over 4 cups of frozen corn. That is 20 ounces or 566 grams, something like that. So I'm going to add this in, and I did not thaw the corn first. It's surely thawed some as it's been sitting here, but I just add it straight from frozen. In addition to this, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar because creamed corn should have a nice sweetness. It's already going to be a little sweet because corn is usually a little sweet, but a little bit of sugar really helps with the flavor. I'll also add some salt. I'm adding 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and I also like just a little bit of ground black pepper. It's just an 1/8 teaspoon. So I'm just going to stir this until it's well combined with the other ingredients. It's just going to take like a minute or so. All right, and then while stirring, we're going to drizzle in our 1/2 and 1/2. This is 1 1/3 cups. I'm just going to drizzle it in. All right, we're just going to bring this to a gentle simmer, and we're going to stir it occasionally while it's simmering until the liquid has thickened. A lot of times when you have creamed corn, some of the corn is like a little bit pulverized. If you want to do that, you absolutely can. You can use an immersion blender for just a couple seconds to puree some of the corn, or you could take like a cup of the corn and put it in your blender and puree it and then add it back. That is totally fine. I don't really prefer it that way anymore. I used to, but that's an option if you prefer. Now in the recipe card over on the blog, I do include some other add-ins you could use. Like if you wanted to make this richer, you could use Parmesan cheese or cream cheese, but I really like it as is. Nice and simple, really lets all of the natural corn flavor, sounds weird, but it lets it shine through, and it's actually really delicious. There's some bubbling going on there. It doesn't really take long for it to thicken. Also keep in mind that it will thicken the longer it sits, and if you turn off the heat, it's going to get even thicker and creamier as it cools. If I'm making this in advance, like I want to make it and then I want to reheat it the next day, I'm going to leave it a little bit more liquidy than I actually prefer it. That way I am accommodating for the fact that it's going to thicken as it sits. Usually if I can scrape my spatula through the bottom and I can see the bottom of my pan for a second, that's a good sign that it's thickened enough. So I'm going to turn off the heat. And this is much too hot for me to eat right now, but that is how you make a creamed corn. So tell me, do you normally eat this for like holiday dinners, like Sunday suppers, or is this more of like a cookout meal for you or side dish for you? I'm actually really curious to hear. So if you do eat it for cookouts, definitely check out my Instant Pot pulled pork. That seems like it would be a good fit, but I will be saving this for my Thanksgiving turkey. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Ooh, try topping it with thinly sliced green onions. That is a really nice addition. It's really good. Hey, it's Sam from Sugar Spun. Sugar Spun. And I could eat this stuff by the spoonful. Well, I guess that's what you're supposed to do. So it's kind of weird to say. It's like me being like, you making a soup and being like, I could eat this by the spoonful. That's the point.